четыре, пять. Раз, два, три, четыре, пять. Because you'll never know when it starts. Привет, ребята. I'll tell you a story. A little one. There was a young boy. He lived in Russia. He didn't know he would be writing music. And he didn't know that tonight he would talk to you in English. Ooh. Maybe we'll learn another Russian word, huh? Привет. Привет means hi. It's spelled very strangely, as I suppose every Russian word is for an English-speaking person, is spelled strangely. Hey, how are you? Welcome to the premiere of the track called Above the Planet that I did some time ago. And I am excited to show it to you. Not very much else to say. I have something to tell you afterwards. Not exactly very, very connected to the subject. But I hope it all works all right. I hope you have your headphones in place. And I hope that afterwards you have a nice day. Because my day, as you can see, is almost done. But it's not a problem. I'm a night owl, if you didn't know. Okay, an ambient track, live guitar, live piano, sweet banner, and I suppose a good collection, a good addition to the collection of this year, 2020. Please welcome. This is Vospi, Above the Planet. Спасибо. Thanks for listening. Спасибо is another Russian word. Means thanks, thank you, whatever. I suppose I have to say something about what we just heard, because that would be appropriate. I've played some live piano for the ending. I did quite a few takes to make it work, but the idea was, as I would maybe play it on stage, like if that would be an orchestra and you would listen to an orchestra, and afterwards I would be a solo player. This is one of the pictures I imagine that I never got to experience. I don't know if that would happen at all. Any group playing of my music of any sort besides me and two friends with guitars playing covers more than 10 years ago. Covers of my songs, which was cool, but still not what I envision in this case. Not as deep, not as complex. I'm also very happy that I sneaked the guitar in, because I have four of them and they are not going to work as much as I would like them to. So this time they did, and I think they are in there with a good reason. I did something new for this track for myself technically, and I think this is one of the reasons that it was born at all. I really liked doing that. I think I'm going to employ the technique more and more because it really suits the sound I love. You should thank that technique for the stereo kind of effects, but kind of pads, melodic elements that are there for, you could say, atmosphere, but mostly to project an imaginary physical world on a person who listens to that. And I did this track quite some time ago, maybe a month ago, something like that. And this affects me, and I don't like the way it does. Because when the last week when I presented Реки вспять to you, it was hot in my hands. I don't know how to describe it. It was as if I locked myself in, I worked, and then I am, ta-da, presenting you this thing. And I am still in this mindset. And this means a world to me for some reason. This feeling of being right in front of you, almost as if I am performing. And me feeling this track as if it is news for me, not just for you. This is one of the reasons that I'm not good with albums and pre-promotions or whatever. I think, at least if I am to sit here and express my emotions correctly. I think I got that word from Joe Rogan. Sorry. Anyways, I really like the combination of the picture that I did yesterday. I shot it 2 or 3 months ago. And you being here and me being there. And I think that's what counts in the end for this day. Of course, I would like to see the whole cycle, but as of right now, I'm happy this thing exists. I've sent you a link to the chat, to the SoundCloud, where you can listen to and download the file. I know it's a rarity. I have like 500 plays right now on Реки вспять, and 1 download. 1. So people just don't care for that. I suppose I can get behind that, but I am still that old school person who collects music into folders, and I suppose that is expected, that I'm not of that running type, and I also am precious with my past, which was hugely offline. I believe you remember those times as well, but maybe it's just more convenient to go to Google Play or whatever for your music and for the better service and for recommendations and all of that. I just cherish, files, and to each his own, I suppose. People would be cherishing vinyl and CDs, and I'm not like that. I don't have a huge experience with them. I do a little bit, but not that much. Let me read some of your comments. I see a lot of familiar faces, but also I see some people that I did not see before. And cheers to you, party people. Welcome. I don't know where we would meet again. I don't know, because I need to do something first and then present to you. I'm not one of those guys who thinks that I should just grace you with my presence and that is enough. I want to earn it, really. This is the thing. And I suppose it stops me sometimes from growing my audience or whatever, but I don't freaking care. I'm 33. I want to do what I want to do and not something else. And what I want to do is to do great music and to bring it to a huge audience of loving people. Woo! So this is my goal here. Lara, please get better, because she writes that she's sending something from bed. I don't know, but is that because you're sick, or is that because you're just still sleepy? It is almost midnight in here. We started at 11 p.m. Our time, so you could imagine how late am I staying up after those things, because I get worked up, and that's not the only reason. I just like the night. I want to ask you something, actually. Do you feel that, because, okay, I'm going to ask a question and then I'm going to explain myself. Do you feel any emotional connection in a good way with the night, just with this time of day? And why I'm asking this question is maybe we share some qualities that are not that obvious, but maybe commanded by our music taste, because I suppose we have a similar one if you are here. I like the night because it's you become solitary, and because it's a beautiful light play here in the city, and because it makes everything quieter and not less intense to me. I still feel, for me, even more, I feel more intensity from music and from movies, for example. Do you feel the same? I would be really curious to know. This is not an engagement technique. I was just thinking of what do I connect with this track. And besides slow dancing and making huge gestures and imagining an orchestra and imagining an open space, which I think is would be a fairly common connection in our minds, but also I think it's a very nighty track. This is what I feel about it. Because, for example, Реки вспять, previous one, definitely was done during the night, as I probably almost all my life I did music during the night, instead of sleeping or instead of going to school or whatever. But it does not feel like a track from the night. It's like bright and urban and whatever else. This one definitely does feel like that to me. For example, this color that I chose, I would get it more purple, but I wanted to keep it to the planet idea. Another name I wanted to give the track was Poetry, but it just did not stick for whatever reason. I thought that the majestic brass movements that are there, that they are kind of my first connection to that is when the tempo is practically perfect, when it carries you, just as you said in the chat. I feel like it's something that is to be cherished in art. Whatever, man. I don't know. I'm not a specialist, and I hope to die not being a specialist in this type of thing, not knowing everything, every single thing. Okay, I have something else to tell you and show you while you are putting your thoughts in about the night. But I suppose it's asking too much to express your thoughts and then to listen to me simultaneously. But I wanted to make a little detour tonight and describe something that happens numerous times in my life, musical life in this case. It's remixes, because I love them. And sometimes they do happen. I think they contribute a lot. I like others people's vision. Others people vision, or other people's vision. Both are correct. Fuck me. Okay, so I love doing them as well, and maybe that would be for another time. But this time I wanted to showcase some of the remixes that other people did for me, and even without me asking. And it was extremely cool, and I enjoy every single one of them. So if you happen to be a musician who's thinking about it, just send it to me directly, please. I would enjoy it, really. If you don't feel like it, okay, keep it to yourself or post it somewhere. I don't know. But I just like when people do that. I think it's a nice gesture. There is a track of mine from Video Out series. It's called Video Out D. So I suppose you know this melody. This is the main melody of the track. I still really like it. It represents one of those periods of my life when I was very, very optimistic. I'll route them together and make them a little bit quieter. Just a second, please. I was very optimistic, is what I was saying. And I am still very optimistic, but I was even a little, I don't know, out there, dreamy, something like that. A little bit too much. So I like this quality about that music. So there is a drum and bass remix by someone called Michael Folder. And you can download it on my site. It's still there on vospi.com/music. I never heard the full version, and I suppose he never got in full contact with me. It was very, very long time ago. I don't know if he's still called that. I can't find him. And it's not a rocket science, the remix. But I do like it. You know, drum and bass. This light and soft and urban. Some remixes are very different. I've got some drum and bass remixes, and I think I would show more to you next time, because I would have a reason to. Never told you. I suppose, I hope I would. Sometimes I do remixes on myself. So for Video Out D, I have another version called Video Out D Cries. I really, really like it. I don't know why it's silent. Let me bring it up. So you can tell that the older I grew, I turned a little bit to the ambient side. So this is one of those turns. It's on my SoundCloud, no problem finding it. One of the most favorite things I do with the music is I imitate it with my face and hands and mouth. Another instance of self-remixing was my very subtle track Too Fast to Age. I did it a long time ago. It's drum and bass again. When I was obsessed with the genre and I was thinking that it's not a big deal, they're not paying that much attention, I can just throw some breaks together and fake that I'm sampling something, because they do sample existing tracks, but I just created little snippets and sped them up as if I was sampling someone. And afterwards I understood that, yeah, it's nice to do that. It's like it gets bigger. A little earlier. right? So afterwards, of course, because I am the positive vibes guy, I couldn't stop there. So I got this, you know, different harmony, a little bit higher. It was my go-to. Higher, higher, higher. And afterwards, it just picks up. Ta-da! I got real bad story with this track though, I would tell you because you're my friends and they are not anymore. Someone signed it. It is released on Beatport, you can buy it, but do understand that right now I do not get any proceeds from them because I got a little bit scammed with that. I was too eager to sign my music, like it was a sign of recognition. If you do not know what this means, that means that someone from a label is interested in promoting that and releasing it on some kind of an EP or whatever. But in my case, I got with the wrong people, which happens, and I wasn't very inquisitive with the agreement, which I am not anymore. I'm very inquisitive. I read everything that is considered connected to my music. Before, I was too eager to get in the door, to like expose my whatever. And I suppose I should be concerned with that right now, because it's not my strong suit at all, and I don't like doing that. Oh, please help me. But at this case, they just like it was super strange. He dodged me for a brief time without giving any specifics on the on how much they sold. After I'm like, okay, man, it's like 3 months. Shouldn't you pay me something? He's like, I'm sorry, I don't have any free money right now because I'm saving for the car. Like, you know, from that point on that it's not like a good working relationship if a person is doing such an argument and going with it, right? Seriously, 100% seriously. But later, the thing that screwed even more with me, got me upset even more, that later, years later, they got both of those tracks, Too Fast to Age and the remix, which is called Love VIP version, Too Fast to Age, Love VIP version. I know it's a mouthful. They released it on their best 100, like the best tracks, their 100th release on the label. Without saying, like, they said nothing. I knew nothing. If I wouldn't Google the name, like my name, I wouldn't know that this release is out. Okay, go to hell, please. And I'm not saying that every person who would run a little label is like that. No, not at all. And I have very positive experience on the other side. But still, I now know I don't want someone to control my music. I don't want someone to get proceeds before me. I don't want to be limited in terms of, can I stream it? Can I upload it somewhere? Because you should be limited after you provide the rights, especially if they are exclusive. Hope this is thankfully not the case. But yeah, in this particular case, it's not the case. They don't get the exclusive rights license, surely. Even at that point of time, I was too wise to do that. But yeah, it's not a cool story. And it happened, I think, more than 10 years ago. So I think it's nice, but still. I'll get back to your night comments just in a second, just to finish the block that I'm talking about, and you would have a moment to write something back on the remixes or whatever. Oh, I want to tell you about one of the most well-produced remixes on my track, to my tracks. Sorry. Ever. It's called I'm Cold and Frigid, the original, and the hook, one hook is this. Oh, sorry. Too soft. Yes. So I was just teaching myself how to do experimental things here. Oh, not here. Sorry. Should listen to my music more. Right here. And it comes back. So afterwards it becomes softer, as I usually do. Is it softer? I think it's nicer. I think it's adventurous. I don't need your compliance. I just share it with myself. Sorry, it was not a nice thing to say. So afterwards, one of my Russian friends that I got acquainted just by chance, his nickname is Final Sketch, and he does fantastic electronic music. Like, I am not that electronic compared to him. I'm not on a bleeding edge by any stretch of imagination, and I sometimes don't really like to be. I like to be more organic, classic, whatever sounding, employing usual instruments, pianos, guitars, basses. They are my passion, and everything else are just dressing. But in his case, his main thing is this, and I know you would enjoy it. I am telling you, like, it sounds super good. Here it is. Let me bring it up to you. And besides doing that, he's like doing breakcore and crazy stuff, but he can also do that. Oof. Super good. You can easily Google that track. It's on SoundCloud as well, so no problem favoring it. The original is called I Am Cold and Frigid. So if you would just add a remix part to it, probably you would find more than one remix, because I have a remix pack out for that track. It was just uploaded somewhere. So I got some. I also got a nice drum and bass remix, and I like to play it when I play drum and bass sets. This is all a preface to something that I'm going to present to you in the future. Never told you that. Never told you that. Did not make any promises. Not making promises. Like, he played it so well. It's not a copy-paste thing. He has his vision. I really like it was connected to my childhood, I suppose. I heard this word remix from the biggest names. It was kind of hot in MTV 2000 era, the word. And I thought it's a very, very cool idea of taking a snippet and reimagining it completely. It was one of the first things I did when I tried myself in that realm at all. And I don't regret it. I suppose I owe some of my acknowledgement in Bimini culture because of that, and that's super cool. And I'm planning to do that more. I just I don't have that insane drive as I had when I was 19, because I enjoy a lot of things in life, which is a very pleasant thing to say. But before I didn't, and I was I think an unhappy person with positive vibes. I was not very conscious of that. I was not super happy or looked after or whatever. Okay. I got corrected on other people's visions. Other people's visions. I shouldn't say other people. No, because they... Okay. Give me homework. Give me an English homework. I would do that. I would like report back the next meeting. The work reminded me of Egyptian myth of the birth of the sun and sunset. Okay. I don't know the myth though. Are you planning to continue writing music in the symphonic genre? I never did. This is not considered a symphonic genre at all. I am now very, very light with the term pop music. I think this is pop music. Uh, Everything like rock, metal, trap, drum and bass. I don't know, Rihanna. This is all pop music because it speaks to you in one universal, very interesting language, but in different kind of tempo. It's not like you are supposed to be very educated on the subject to appreciate it. Mostly, not counting that I am very easy to appreciate music without lyrics, and I suppose you are if you are here as well. But I think it's not very common, and I have to remind myself that sometimes. I don't know. I don't really like go into academic music, which is what it's called. Formal. Okay, in English it's formal music. It's академическое in Russian. Um, I am very close to pop music, and I get positive vibes from it. And I like to mix and match with underground vibes from electronic music, but I'm not born there. You can tell. You can tell that I do not speak that language natively. I just drag it to me, right? It's something that I try to adopt, but I think it's fairly obvious that it's not my native musical language, the electronic part of it, because I have someone to compare. This is why I think that. I think other people literally speak it. They express themselves in that, and I just use it as a helping something to achieve a goal of a different medium, of a melody or something. I suppose I have a couple of tracks which are very electronic centric, but mostly I go to melodies, and this is a very good place to start. Pop music is a very good place to go there. Also, another con of symphonic type of sound is that you have to put too much work to still sound fake. If I were to control a lot of live musicians, control is not the nicest word, but you get what I mean. In the nicest way, to be amazed by their craft and by the work they put in and by their dedication to the craft, because they put in hours and hours and hours to practice and to perfect themselves. In this case, I would just melt if they would play a line from video audio or something, especially for other people to appreciate, not just me. I'm not that introversial. I like other people. But yeah, these are the downsides. Video decries is one of my favorites, to be honest. Julia says, thank you. This is like uncharacteristically soft for me, the track. Michael Maron, I'm sorry if I pronounce your name incorrectly. Hey, from the UK, started listening to your music about 8 years ago. Man, just wanted to say, did I start to listen to my music 8 years ago? Yeah, surely I did. Just wanted to say I always enjoyed it. Keep it up the good work and have a great 2020. I hope you're still here to hear this, Michael. Thank you for the kindest words. I always wanted to visit. Where are you from? In the UK. Maybe if I get a chance, we can meet up and shake hands and whatever. I don't drink though, so if that's a problem, we should consider that. That's cool. 8 years, so it's 2012? Yeah, something like that. Thank you. 8 years is a huge time. I like the night mostly for the sake of how quiet it is. It allows me to be myself. Big Z11 says. Yeah, something like that. I feel something like that. I do understand you. Thank you, guys. If you have something to say it now, because I'm about to close that thing. And I just want to say I like the format right now, as it is now. I had some expectations and I had some plans that did not come to fruition as far as I would like them to. But it's all for good, because now I can try to sense of what can we do with the freaking channel. I don't have a video team to create. Well, I have Project 19. like the video creator for Vospi's tracks. But I don't have enough material to just post it, and I'm not sure about the copyright questions that arise and whatever else. And I don't like the tracks with just a banner stuck on them. I suppose this is how people can consume music, but I don't like how the channel looks afterwards, if it makes any sense. It looks kind of, I don't know. What's wrong with it. Maybe when I get the volume, it looks differently, and that's okay. But I started it trying to put the work in to make every single video special. In this case, I like the tradition. I like the time it works for me, the day. So maybe we'll keep it up, and I'll have something to show you in the future. Because as I said, I did something almost completed some of the work that I would like to show you that are very different from two previous tracks, which excites me. This is what I love. This is what I did back in 2009 and what I lost for years, freaking years. I do not recommend doing that. I don't get you. Big Z11 stale? What do you mean? What do you mean? Well, this is one thing about those streams. I would really enjoy just talking to you or being directly in front of you, because this delay drives me freaking crazy sometimes. But I got used to it. It's just uncomfortable that I just don't know why did you send that message now, because I'm so far ahead of myself. Do you speak any other language? I was learning French when I was a kid. I do not speak it by any stretch of imagination. Like, I can try to make a couple of sentences just to amuse you, but that's the end of it. Les filles jouent de boule de neige, like that's the top. And every time I hear French people speak, I know, oh, surely I did not speak French. I spoke some kind of a remix, but not French at all. I enjoy listening to Japanese language, of course. I don't, yeah. Oh, French, cool, because Project 19 is a French person. Oh, Big Z11 elaborates. Yeah, I get you. I mean that the channel feels stale, having only backgrounds to the songs. Yeah, and also it feels like a repost, you know? It feels like I'm just filling the space for the sake of filling the space. I hate that feeling. I don't know about you, and maybe comfort should not, what's the word? Trump that. The comfort should come first, and then the exclusivity or something, because I am a service at the end. Oh, ça sent bon le chocolat, right? Yeah, the French part of it. But I just don't like that feeling that I'm like flooding everything and everything is unique. I don't like that. So I try to, but I have only so much time and only so much motivation to do that. So that's the hard part, as always. The easiest way to promote yourself is just come up and scream, grab a rock, throw it the farthest and scream the loudest and I am here, I am the freaking best. I have no humility. And even without that, I don't know. There is a certain part when you set yourself apart. And I suppose I give up some of that when I'm in here. When I present myself to you as just a guy, which is the way I speak to my friends and which is the way I prefer. But I suppose it ruins some of it. Maybe you would prove me wrong. I don't know. There is some magic in the stage, in you being removed from the stage. I don't know if you agree, please tell me. But I think there is. And I think when you are constantly, as I do right now, talking, you ruin some of that. You don't let it fully speak in silence and let people get it in their heads. But what I tell back to myself is that you are here not for just that. You are people who dedicated some of their special time for that meeting. So it must mean something too, that we are directly one-on-one. And I know some people who would be doing good things to me without liking my music that much. I'm not implying these are the people who are here, because obviously you're not. I know that some of the people here knew me from the music, not personally. But when you work a lot with this kind of stuff, you have to tell yourself that, to be calm as to other people's expectations and approaches. Everyone's different, and you are not the universal good to the world, as I wanted to be for years, and I think it shows. But yeah. How long does it take you to create a song on average? About 2 nights. I'm averaging because usually I do it in 1 night. Not all the time, though. Not all the time. But the other side of that would be months. Just because I'm not this obsessive writer, I like people, and I like people who surround me. And also I teach music now. So I teach people how to create tracks. So every aspect of it. And it accounts not only for the technical difficulties or just the knowledge, but for the RT work. Starting from simple things like composition, simple because they could be expressed in some kind of very rigid schematic way, like the basis of that. But then you go for the how come I couldn't finish the track, or what should I do in this situation, or where is my audience? And that's when you are getting real personal. And I like doing that. I think this is the reason that people go to a tutor. So right now I teach about 6 people a week, and this is my main income. They are all Russians, but I did lectures in English, and I really enjoy doing that. Mostly because if they come to me, they usually did their homework, and it shows. I like working with these kind of people. Very ambitious in some ways, because I don't know, for multiple reasons. It's just a pleasure. Where was I going with all this? I have a responsibility to keep myself sane, is what I feel, because I have to absorb some of their worries. Does it make any sense? I hope it does. Like a young person writing music, he's worried about himself or something connected to that part. So I shouldn't be as disturbed, is what I feel, and music disturbs me. Listening to a good music disturbs me in a good way. Listening to bad music disturbs me instantly in a bad way. I just you can, I suppose, not torture me, but wear me out definitely with that. Good movies, they also fire me up, and afterwards I feel unsociable, disconnected, which is not the quality you want when you go to speak with a person for an hour and a half. See? But I'm not trying to make a victim of myself, and I'm very happy that my endeavors of just doing it and going more for sports and eating better paid off. And now I feel better in all sorts of ways. But I had to cut something from my life in order to do that, just to be less distracted. Just to concentrate on what we are doing right now, just to concentrate on 10 viewers, as if I am starting from scratch. I started doing music at 2005. By 2009, I was in multiple games and was reviewed greatly on some sites. It gets into your head. You think that you shouldn't work anymore, and that's a big mistake. And I fell in there, and it was horrible. And I would very, very much hope to never make this mistake again. So to give you an example, Oscar, this track was created in 1 night, but it was reviewed afterwards. Like, everything is done. I consider the work done, and not be in a question of finishing it when I know how it ends. When I know how it starts, how it ends, and I know the whole way we made to this point. That's why I tried not to stop, not to be distracted, which is why I love nights. And I don't mind the sacrifice of the next morning. But afterwards, you have to look out for the little balance things, for technical considerations, because when you are doing this for 7, 8, 9, 10 hours straight, you lose some of the perspective, even physically. And I have the best solutions right now, like these headphones. They are super good, man. You don't get tired at all. Before, you get screwed in like 1 hour. In general, buy, if you are considering that, buy headphones that are open and not closed. This is how you get less fatigue from working with audio for a long time. But they do not isolate the sound as good. So if I were to compress that real bad, you would probably hear a feedback or music coming from here or something like that. But I don't mind. I am cautious. So I make this a point to not ever post a track right after I finished it, because I have this urge, but I know this would be a mistake. And time again, I proved myself correct, because I made this mistake like 2 or 3 times, and I had to re-upload. And before, it was easier a little bit, because these were just files, and people just used the link. But now, in a way, you are on, like, you have some, not enough artifacts are left behind. But right now, you have to, like, in SoundCloud, you could replace the track. That's a fine way, but I don't like to present my track. It's not the worst. Maybe I would like make some major changes, but usually I don't. And there are opposite examples, Oscar. Like the longest tracks could have a theoretical lifespan of more than a year. In my case, it was Nervous. It was bass through another drum and bass song I did, and rearranged multiple times. With Nervous, I got lucky. Musla is another one. These were the tracks from the period I was active previously, is what I feel, and people liked it real much. They were like I don't know how to call it, the flagmans, the flagship songs. But right now, I feel like I'm creating them right now, and this is the best feeling ever. I highly recommend it. Like, I feel that kill me with kindness, and the things that I'm doing right now and not showing to you would be the thing that I would get back again and again and again, year and year, time and time again. This is what I feel, because I am a very strict judge of that feeling, not a quality. So I suppose the short answer is it's very erratic, and I don't have a good way to predict when I'm done. But I'll just know when I'm done. I'll hear it. There would be something that clicks, and if there is nothing, I should have a reason to do that. And if I have a reason, a special person, a deadline, someone's birthday, as I did numerous times, I can force myself to try to look for that. It's an uncomfortable and lonely place, and this is why I don't get there often. And that's a pity. I'm just a weak person, I suppose, in that and multiple other regards. Thank you for asking. I am sorry for giving you that long-winded answer. But I got, as always, carried away, and it's, I suppose, fine, because this is how I am. Thank you, guys. This is the end. This is exactly, by the way, midnight in Russia right now. So my Sunday starts now, and your Saturday, for most of you, is still way ahead of you. So make a good use of it, or be as relaxed as a clam and don't be worried about it. I have my morning routine. I go and dance for 10 minutes, then I get into shower and I ask myself one of two questions. One of them is, what do we want to do? Other one is, what is aching? What is wrong? Whatever, which one of them, it does not really matter. I just pick one and ask one. Maybe do that. If your day does not start well, get into very comfortable clothes and dance for 10 minutes. I highly recommend that. Okay, party people, thank you for being here. I hope you don't mind me addressing you as party people. At this point, I'm ending the stream, and I hope I would have a good reason to get back to you. If you know someone who enjoys this kind of music but would not enjoy Vospi in particular, maybe you could share that with them, because I don't know a lot of people who listen to music, because I don't listen to music that much. That's a pity to admit, and I'm going to fix that in some not very close time, because I have a lot on my mind, a lot of different problems that I have to solve. Thank you once again. Have a good day and a good night for my Russian and Ukrainian friends. Love and kisses. It was Vospi for you. See ya.